Welcome to the experience of the Triple T Josie Gray Show, where truth and transparency in life's challenges bring help, hope, and healing.
Listen now as Josie tells the truth about personal growth and spirituality, relationships, health, and finances.
Tell the truth, Josie. Thank you for that awesome introduction. As the power couple said, I am Josie Gray, and this is the Triple T Josie Gray Show. Yes, the Tell the Truth Josie Gray Show. Well, someone asked me, why did I start the show? Start the women's teachings on the internet, then actually in my home. What am I trying to accomplish? Who do I want to reach? How do I plan to build this, if I'm planning to build it at all? Where do I expect this all to go? Josie, why, what, who, how, where? Well, before I answer and tell you where I'm going, I personally believe it's important for you as subscribers and watchers of the show to actually know where I've come from. Today's show is titled, How to Break the Cycle, the Josie Gray Story, Part 1. This is a part of my true life story. Well, I was the fifth child born to my mother and father. I actually have one older brother and three older sisters. Yes, I'm the baby. And yes, I am spoiled. Everywhere I go, I'm always spoiled. There's only two people I think in my entire life that I can remember who didn't actually spoil me, but more on that later. Like most, I come from a dysfunctional family with a painful background. My mother was shot and killed when I was 2 years old, so I was raised by my grandmother and my uncle on my father's side, and actually my older siblings as well. My dad was a Korean War veteran and had many bouts with what they call mental illness, from the war pains as well as the guilt and pain of losing my mom, because so many people blamed him, and it's been said that it was his fault or he caused her death. Now, my family wasn't actually rich in money, but the one thing my grandmother and my uncle actually instilled in us was the power of prayer and actually in serving God, giving our lives to Christ. Now, I don't remember actually being hugged by anyone in my family or being told I love you. Those things actually came in my adulthood, or shall I say, later on, when my brother and my sisters grew up and married and started families of their own, then they started saying, I love you. By then, like I said, I was probably in my mid to late teens, so it kind of caught me as a shock because it was something that I wasn't accustomed to. So I had to grow to it. Now, there was actually love in our home, so don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It was just shown through deeds and not actually expressed through touch and through an I love you or an encouragement or anything like that, or you're going to be great, etc. This show today is just actually the beginning of my story. But if you stay tuned, subscribe and follow each show or the shows that are going to follow this show, you'll get the totality of my story and the answers for every one of those questions in the compilation of the next few episodes. Now let's talk a little bit about a painful past. Having a painful past does not have to dictate a painful present or a painful future. Each and every one of the painful events we've gone through in life were all designed to become the part of an already, if you will, winning DNA that was constructed in you and designed and intertwined in you from your mother's womb. See, we often forget that we are the lineage of royal blood. You say, royal, Josie, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the king, the father. We come from him, the creator. And although this is true, most of us succumb to life circumstances as though we are paupers. We act like we are just the bottom of the totem pole. We settle when we were never created to live like that. You might ask, Josie, my family has always lived like this. I was taught to hustle, to survive. I grew up watching my mama, my daddy, my uncle, my auntie, my grandparents, and all of them struggle. All I know how to do is just get by. So what are you talking about, Josie? How do I break and overcome that mindset? How do I destroy that pattern of settling or expecting to just get by? Or maybe you're someone who didn't grow up with both of your parents. Maybe you did. But possibly you didn't grow up with either of them like I didn't really in your home. Well, regardless of what life has dealt with, and life may have dealt you some tough gut punches, as well as some below-the-belt karate kicks, I want to give you 3 steps to changing your life right here in this episode. If you take these steps and apply them, they will be just the beginning of you becoming a better you. And here they are. Number one, stop blaming yourself for what happened to you in the past and with your family in the past. Stop living there because it was not your fault. I'm going to say that again. It was not your fault. Now, some of your actions, of course, were instilled in you by what you've seen, what you've been taught, and what you were trained was the right thing to do. Because, like I said, mom and them did it that way. But nevertheless, you can rewire your thinking by what you put in your head from this day forward and what you allow to come out of your mouth. Number two, stop feeling guilty when you know you want to break the cycle you've seen repeatedly all your life. And stop trying to explain why you think that way of life is wrong. Because you're right. You deserve a life that's changed for the better. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Number three, when your life is different because you made better choices, stop allowing it to affect you when people tell you, oh, you think you better than the rest of the family. We all came from the same side of the tracks, but now you've gotten where you forgot where you came from. Anybody ever heard that before? Well, in this excerpt right here, I'm getting ready to give you, and forgive me, I hope I don't spoil this for somebody. It's an excerpt from the Black Panther. I want to say to you, in the Black Panther, someone said, stand up, you are a king. In another excerpt, someone else said, you cannot let your father's mistakes define who you are. You determine who you become. As Josie Gray, I stood up, I stopped. And now I'm determining who I am becoming. Yes, I can. And yes, I am breaking the cycles. Guess what? So can you. Stick with me and I will share with you how. Well, guess what? This is the Josie Gray Show. And the Josie Gray story will be continued next week. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Triple T Josie Gray Show. Please remember that our contact information is at the bottom of the screen. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember, if this really is impacting you, comment. I have many people who are sending me information and saying, Josie, I'm so excited, or Josie, this was right for me, but I don't really hear comments. I want you to do me a favor and comment on this actual video or comment on my Facebook page. That helps me help others when they see that other people are being blessed. And that helps me also build the audience. So that means you're helping me. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Doggone it, get your cell phone and just forward it. I don't mind at all. This again is Josie Gray. This is the end of the Triple T Josie Gray Show for today. We so look forward to you sticking with us because we're going to share our real life story, bit by bit, episode by episode, and you don't want to miss it. See you next week.